This evening's final Alumni Award is named for the late, great CNN reporter John Holliman Jr., one of the original Baghdad boys whose coverage, calm under fire, and tenacity in the service of truth still inspire to this day. We honor John in presenting this award for lifetime achievement to Chris Holcomb, chief meteorologist at 11 Alive in Atlanta, WXIA, WATL.
Thank you so much for this, and to everyone who is here, I really appreciate it. I got the call from Dean Davis, and I was so shocked. I had no idea that I would be able to accept something like this tonight. And Haji, when he mentioned the midterm achievement, imagine when Dean Davis calls and says lifetime achievement. I'm like, I think I have some lifetime left. I hope that I've got some more going in this career. I'm so honored to get an award that's named after John Holliman. So to the John Holliman family and to folks at CNN, I'm very honored to get this recognition that bears his name. I'm standing here today not because of what I have done. It's because of this school, the University of Georgia, and the Grady College that equipped me to be here right now. And also because of many people who invested in me and in my life that allow me to be here tonight too. Diane told me that I would have to prepare some statements, some remarks for tonight. And as a weather guy, Chesley McNeil is here, he can vouch for me. As a weather guy, we don't write scripts. We just get up and talk. And we have an IFB in our ear, and we talk until somebody tells us to wrap. So I have some remarks here tonight, and I'm gonna try to stick to that. I don't have anybody in my ear telling me to wrap up, so hopefully I won't go too long. But I want to take you back to when I was 5 or 6 years old at the grocery store with my mom. Probably being a typical brat, not wanting to be at the grocery store. I wasn't big enough to play football, and I had on a football jersey. It was red, all right? And it was a fake football jersey that came with iron-on letters, and my mom had ironed on Chris, my name, on the back of this fake football jersey. So we're in the grocery store. I'm sure I was pushing the buggy into things, and all of a sudden this man comes up and taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" And I looked up, and I recognized this man with distinct white hair, and it was the weatherman from TV. And for those of you who have been here in Atlanta for a long time, you will recognize the name Guy Sharp. And that was the first time that I realized that that man that I watched in the box in my TV in my den was actually a real person. And he was at the grocery store in the toilet paper aisle, and he knew my name. And so I was on cloud 9 for the rest of that trip at the grocery store, and my mom finally said, "Chris, your name is on the back of your shirt." That's how he knew. And I was like, "No, Mom, I know that those people on TV can see us when we're watching them on TV." I was convinced that Guy Sharp knew my name because of that. Well, let's progress on into elementary school in DeKalb County, in Doraville, at Carrie Reynolds Elementary School. We had a career day project. And I remember thinking to my teacher, "Are you serious? You want me to think about a job?" But she challenged us, everyone in the class, to think about a job that they would want to do, something that they enjoy doing, and you could do it as a job and get paid for doing it. And I thought, okay. I met the weatherman in the toilet paper aisle one day, and it was ever since then that I was infatuated with television and television news and weather and news anchoring and reporting. So I chose that as my career. And part of our project was we had to call someone in our chosen field and interview them and do a project on that interview. And I thought, okay, I'll show my teacher. These TV guys aren't going to talk to little me in Doraville in DeKalb County, and I can get out of this project, right? But I had to try. My favorite news anchor at that time was a man named Chuck Moore, and I called up the TV station, asked to speak to Chuck Moore, thinking that he wouldn't have time for me, and the receptionist said, "Yeah, hold on, please." And I was like, uh-oh. And the next thing I knew, somebody picked up the phone and said, "Hey, this is Chuck Moore, can I help you?" And I remember saying to him, "Is this really Chuck Moore?" I couldn't believe I was actually talking to the guy on TV who I watched every night. I interviewed him, did the project, and made an A. So all through high school, I geared my education to this career of what I wanted to do when I grow up in television and in TV news. And I knew that after high school, the only place that I was going to go was the University of Georgia because of the journalism school here. I applied, I got accepted. I'm so glad I went then and not now. The admissions office of today would look at my grades and SAT score and they would say, bless his heart. But I was able to come here. Loved being here at the University of Georgia. I have to tell you though, when I came here as a freshman, I was a little overwhelmed. My friend who was going to come here with me went to a different school, so I ended up having to get a potluck roommate my freshman year. I was a little bit lost and I was overwhelmed, and I almost started thinking that first semester I was homesick. I'll just tell you. That first, it was quarters back then, did I make the right choice? I lived in Myers Hall. It wasn't an honors hall then, believe me. It was normal. And third floor Myers Hall, and there was a guy that was a year or two ahead of me who was already in the journalism school, and I saw that he had some journalism textbooks. That guy's name is Scott Howard. The Scott Howard that you guys listen to on the radio now with football games and basketball games. I said, hey, can I look at your books? As nerdy as that sounds, I'm so sorry, that sounds really nerdy. Can I look at your journalism books? And I looked at those books and I knew this is where I need to be. This is what I need to continue to do. So I went on through all of the professors. I was intimidated by Conrad Fink. I took the law class with Dr. Lee. I learned how to shoot and edit from Al Wise. There are too many professors to mention and too many people that have had such a big impact on me. I had 3 internships while I was here at the University of Georgia, one of those being the lawmakers with Georgia Public Television. And this school equipped me for that and for every internship that I had. Then it came time to graduate. And I was able to graduate a little early, thanks to joint enrollment program in high school. I graduated in 3 years and 1 quarter. And I thought, I've done everything right. The internships, graduated early, but it still took me 6 months to find a job. I finally got a job in Macon at WMAZ Radio and WAYS Radio. And then 10 months later, got to work on the other side of the building at WMAZ TV. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this maybe 1 or 2 years, and then news directors are going to be knocking down my door trying to give me a job. I could wallpaper a room in rejection letters. It took me 3.5 years before I got my next job. And I told my wife before we got married that, be prepared, we're going to have to move around a lot if you marry me and I stick with this career. But 4 months after we got married, well, she moved to Macon with me when we got married. 4 months later, I got my dream job in Atlanta at 11 Alive. And you want to know the cool thing about that? The first day on the job, I walked up and introduced myself to Guy Sharp and Chuck Moore, the 2 people who took time with me as a little kid, and I ended up being their coworker. That was a really cool thing. I've been at 11 Alive now for it's going to be 28 years coming up this July, and it has been a dream job and a dream career to work in the city where I grew up. I'm a hometown guy. I've worked with legends. Johnny Beckman was a legendary weather guy growing up. Jill Becker, John Pruitt, Kay Flowers is here tonight. Dan Johnson was my photographer. We were together in a hurricane off the Cape Hatteras. Chesley is here. Cal Calloway is a former boss of mine. Jennifer Rigby, my current boss, is here with us tonight as well. So many people who invested in my life and my career, and I thank you so much. Now, I also have a great family. Now, Haji, you said you weren't emotional. I'm a crier, so y'all just bear with me. I hope I get through this. My mom and dad did not have the opportunity to go to college, but they sacrificed so that my sisters and I could go to college. My mom passed away 2 years ago at 87. My dad passed away just last year at 91 years old. I was able to have them for a long, long time. They sacrificed so that I could come here to the University of Georgia. And they would be so honored tonight to know that when they scraped and scrimped to get money to pay for tuition, that the college that they sent that money to is now is now honoring their boy tonight. I have an amazing family. My sister and brother-in-law are here. They retired early to help take care of my elderly parents so that wouldn't interfere with my career. Thank you so much. I have brothers and sisters in-laws here tonight. I hate to use the word in-law because we're just all one happy family. My kids are here tonight. Griffin, my son, just flew in last night from his Wall Street job in New York to be here tonight. My daughter did not have to travel as far. She is a sophomore here, just got accepted into the athletic training program. Thank you guys so much. I missed a lot in your life because of this crazy schedule that I have, so thank you for your support and encouragement. And my wife, my biggest cheerleader. I have to go to work at crazy hours and leave her at home by herself when a tornado is coming. I'm running out the door. But she is always my biggest encourager and biggest cheerleader. And one of the things she often says is, "That's okay, Chris, go ahead. You really need to hold on to this gig." So thank you for that encouragement. She is a cancer survivor. We're just celebrating 8 years of her being cancer-free. So thank you to everyone who has had a part of this and all of the supporters and people who have had an impact on my career, but it all goes back to right here in Athens, Georgia, at the University of Georgia and the Henry W. Grady School of Journalism and Mass Communication to equip me to have this dream job that I have today. Thank you.